I'm making creme caramel with apple sorbet and ginger syrup. Now, creme caramel is a childhood favorite of mine, and I think probably the first dessert that I had in a restaurant. It's basically a set custard, and this is how I do mine. Take a bowl, add the eggs, sugar, and muscat, and mix together until the sugar dissolves and the egg turns slightly pale. Now, the muscat adds a lovely flavor to this custard, and I find that because of the alcohol, the custard actually has a smoother mouthfeel. Next, add the cream and the milk to a saucepan and slowly heat until just before it starts to boil. Remove from the heat. Now, carefully add the cream mixture into the egg mixture and whisk to combine. Then, strain the mixture into a jug and skim off the excess bubbles from the surface. Divide the mixture among 6 3/4 cup capacity oven-proof bowls. Pour enough water into the roasting pan to come halfway up the sides of the bowls. And bake in a preheated oven on 160 degrees Celsius until just set for about 50 to 55 minutes. When done, remove from the oven and the water bath and set aside to cool. Now for that delicious muscat caramel. Take a small saucepan and over medium-high heat, combine the sugar, 80 milliliters of water, and stir until the sugar dissolves. While the caramel is cooking, brush the sides of the pan down with a wet pastry brush to prevent sugar crystals from forming. Now cook until a dark caramel color forms. This shouldn't take longer than 6 to 8 minutes. The caramel can burn very quickly and will taste bitter, so try and gauge the right time to take it off from when it starts to color. Also control the temperature once you get to that stage. Now, remove from the heat and add the muscat and 80 milliliters of water. But just be careful at this stage because the mixture will start to spit. Return back to the heat and stir until well combined and set aside. The elements for my creme caramel are now done, but to go with it, I'm making a green apple sorbet. Cut the apples into quarters and put it through a juicer. Measure to make sure that you have around 800 milliliters of juice. Add half a teaspoon of citric acid to the juice to prevent it from oxidizing. And make sure that you keep 3/4 of a cup of the juice for the ginger syrup that I'll be making later. Mix the juice together with the sugar syrup and the lemon juice. Taste for sweetness, and you can add more syrup if necessary. Pour the liquid into an ice cream maker and freeze. This will take about 40 to 45 minutes. Remove and place in the freezer until later. Now for the final element, the ginger syrup. Chop the ginger and add it to the saucepan. Then add apple juice, water, sugar, and salt. Bring to the boil and reduce to a syrupy consistency. This will take about 25 minutes. Remove from the heat and strain through a fine sieve. Keep it aside. All my elements for this classic dessert are now done. Remember, all our recipes are on our website. Right. Now I will pour the muscat caramel sauce over the creme caramel. Serve it with the apple sorbet and ginger syrup. Apple crisps and fresh apple can be served for some extra texture. Lovely.